I'm 1st District Councilman James Brown. We're here today in Douglas Park. As you know, Douglas Park is celebrating its centennial this year. We've been working with the neighborhood association, different organizations in the community to partner and help to expand and share with the rest of Lexington what all is happening here in Douglas Park. A lot of our centennial events are just events that's been happening in Douglas Park for years, but we've taken this opportunity to shine a little light and a little spotlight on these events. And we're here today. We're going to talk a little bit about the history of Douglas Park from its origination. We're going to talk about what Douglas Park is most famous for, and that's its Dirt Bowl basketball tournament. And then we're going to talk about some of the amenities that are here in Douglas Park and what's to come in the future of the park. Hello, I'm 1st District Councilman James Brown, and I'm here today with, I guess she needs no introduction, Miss Yvonne Giles, and we're here in Douglas Park. It's a beautiful sunny day. Thanks for joining me today, Miss Giles.
Thank you for the invitation.
Well, you know, this year is Douglas Park Centennial. We're celebrating the 100 years of Douglas Park being one of the main parks here in Lexington. Can you tell us a little bit about the history and what the climate was back in 1916 when the city established Douglas Park as the first public space for the African American community?
I will be more than happy to share what I have learned. The park committee was established in 1912. The city voted to issue a bond fund for the establishment of public parks for both whites and blacks. And the fund was $50,000, $25,000 split. By 1914, nothing had been done to establish parks for the African American community. So leaders got together on Emancipation Day in January 1915, formed a committee, and went to City Council and said, "Where's our money? And how come you are not doing anything about securing property for our parks?" They'd already bought Duncan Park, and we're looking at some other parks for white patrons, but nothing for African Americans. So the African American Committee stayed on them. It's like, okay, you're trying to ignore us, and what are you doing with our money? And they were assured that their money had not been spent. They just couldn't find a location. And finally, there were several recommendations. One was here in the West End called Peach Orchard, and it was property that was adjacent to the Colored Orphan Home that had a number of houses, residential dwellings on it. And the city wasn't really happy about that because they were going to have to dislocate a number of families, tear down houses, and do a lot of infrastructure. And finally, someone mentioned that there was property here also in the West End that was available. And it's the property that we're standing on now. At a period of time, the Lexington paper sponsored swim classes, free swim classes for students, children, throughout the summer. They had lantern contests, build your own lanterns, and had the lantern ping pong contest, golf course. They had a golf course here. So it was very interactive, and they had almost always in the paper a summary of all their activities that they had planned and executed, who won, usually a list of everybody who'd won anything.
Yeah. I bet you back then that was one of the main forms of communication. So people probably looked for the paper just to see how the events turned out that they missed. Another thing is, over the years, Douglas Park has kind of been known for the Dirt Bowl and basketball.
Yes.
So, in our next segment, we're going to talk a little bit more about Dirt Bowl and the beginnings and the start of it as well. Another thing, if you can touch base on, Ms. Giles, I know the day the park was commissioned, it was a big event. You know, it was people throughout the community came to the park to help celebrate it. And that's kind of what we're working to do with the Centennial celebration. We're trying to get as much of the community involved as possible and try to build on the current events that they have going on here at the park to help celebrate the 100 years. So I appreciate you coming out and sharing a bit of history with us today.
Thank you.
And if, I would give your cell phone number just in case anybody wants some more information, but I won't do that to you.
Thank you.
All right, so I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for the invitation, and I look forward to all the activities that are going to happen.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Giles. All right, welcome back. We're still here in Douglas Park right now. We're on the edge of the famous Dirt Bowl basketball courts, and I'm here with the son of Herbert Washington, Sean Washington. Sean, I know you've grown up in the park. You've grown up around basketball. I know you got a son, little Ricky. He's a basketball phenom himself. I've seen him in action. Can you tell me what you think your dad's vision was and his vision for the park when he started the Dirt Bowl, I think 40 some odd years ago?
Yeah, his vision was to get kids in the community to be active and just stay active in basketball and try to get them to go to college and get a scholarship through his league, which he got hundreds of scholarships for kids to go to college.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is real important about having positive activity in the park for kids, because you know that's what I believe parks are for. You brought up college. I remember when I was a kid, I used to come up here and watch Dirt Bowl games, and I remember specifically watching Ad Davender play up here in the Dirt Bowl. Can you name some other notable players that you know of that played in the Dirt Bowl?
Yeah, Jack Givens, James Lee, Dwight Anderson, who I still think holds the all-time free throws in one game, Dirk Minifield, Freddie Cowens, Billy Ray Bates. It goes on and on. Some of the best players ever came right through his league.
Yeah, you know, as well as all of those notable names, I still remember local neighborhood legends that played up here at the Dirt Bowl. You know, just to name a couple, George Gentry, Darnell Burton, Alonzo Alcorn, just a whole slew of people that are still in Lexington, still in the community that played and got their start introduction to basketball here at Douglas Park. From my understanding, the championship team of Lexington used to play the championship team from Louisville's Dirt Bowl League. Do you remember that?
Yeah, we played them once, and after that, they threw the towel in. We took care of them pretty good, but we did play them, and they threw the towel in. Okay. We were awful tough. It's been some good ball players. Joe Hall used to come up here. His assistant there was Leonard Hamilton, Dwayne Casey, who coaches Toronto now. He was here all the time. I mean, it's been some great coaches. Don Lane, they all came through this park, all of them.
Yeah, I think it just goes to speak about how, how much this park means to the community, how important it is to the community as well as the Dirt Bowl tournament. Just to add a side note, I remember we were out of town. My son was over my brother's house, and they were playing NBA Live or NBA, some version of NBA on the video game. And when they were playing on an outdoor court, and I noticed that house over there on the corner. And I asked him what the name of the game was, and sure enough, that game had Douglas Park as an option to play, and it was the details and the graphics were so specific, you could identify features in the neighborhood and around the park on the video game. So I said that I just think that's saying a lot about the significance of this park, this basketball tournament, and what it means to Lexington.
I think everybody loves this park. This park's been a part of my life all my life. Everybody around here, and we just love Douglas Park. I just want to stay here another 100 years. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Hope it's here forever.
All right, so, part of one of our goals was, as the Douglas Park Centennial Commission, is to see how we could work with the Divisions of Public Safety to reintroduce the Dirt Bowl back to Douglas Park this year. Well, I appreciate everybody staying tuned to this segment of Council Comments. I'm here today with the new Director of Park and Recreation, Ms. Monica Conrad. Thank you for joining me today here in Douglas Park.
Thank you for having me. Delighted to be here.
Yeah, I didn't realize this was your first council comment, so I get the pleasure of breaking you into the public.
Absolutely, no better place to be.
Yeah. Well, you know what the efforts are. You're actually on the Douglas Park Centennial Commission and been helping with planning and programming the events that we're having this summer. Just to expand a little bit about the park, we're standing down on one of the most recent amenities added to the park, and that's the walking trail. Can you name some of the other amenities that have been brought here to the park just of recent?
Absolutely. You know, this past year and actually for the past couple of years, we've done a lot of work of bringing awareness and improvements here to Douglas Park. So the walking trail that you see here, the paved walking trail, which allows parents who are here bringing their kids out to a football game or to play soccer on the fields or maybe to play softball, have an opportunity to be walking and exercising while their kids are at practice, which is a great amenity for our parents.
Yeah, and another amenity that we're looking or planning to add here in the fall is we're going to relocate some of the park equipment that's in the front of the park back here to the back of the park to create a tot lot.
Absolutely. Another great opportunity for parents to have their children playing and other things for siblings to do as older kids may be practicing football or having a game that their younger siblings can get out and be playing on those areas.
Yeah. See, I know one of the initiatives that my predecessor, Councilman Ford, now Commissioner Ford, helped to get out here was the multi-purpose field here. They relocated the football field out of the baseball field, and now the football field has its own dedicated location. Last year, to kick off the Centennial celebration and events, there was an event with Habitat for Humanity, the Neighborhood Association, and Park and Recreation, to where they have planted 100 trees throughout the park, and there are a few of them here and spread out throughout the park. The mayor put money in the budget last year to resurface the basketball courts. That has been done.
Yes.
I think the tennis courts are scheduled to be resurfaced as well. Another part of that previously mentioned project is they actually built more connectability from the front of the park to the back of the park by installing sidewalks going down along the baseball field, as well as installing wayfinding signs throughout the park to help you kind of find your way to the baseball fields, to the football fields, and to the basketball court. Another big amenity, we had a press conference last week, and working through our council office, the Neighborhood Association, the 100 Hands team, and Park and Recreation in Monica, is that the unveiling of a new playground. Can you talk a little bit about the new playground?
Yes, we're so excited about the new playground. It's going to be a wonderful draw for the entire community. It's going to include and is loosely based on the Big Dipper.
Yeah.
And so it's a spiral type design. It'll have a play area for 2 to 5 year olds and then a play area for 5 to 12 year olds. And then we've been working with Leadership Lexington and the 100 Hands Project to bring in Frederick Douglass quotes and kind of that artistic piece to the playground as well. So we are planning to start construction on that in August and then hope to have final completion by the spring of 2017.
Yeah, that sounds good. I know there's a lot of kids excited about the playground. I know there's a lot of adults excited about the playground, and everybody involved is. Just to touch base on a couple of other amenities that are going to be welcome here at the park, is the mayor had also put in his budget to include some upgrades to the pool. So hopefully that stays in the budget. We haven't passed it yet as of now, but some of the amenities they're looking to add to the pool is a spray ground, which is popular with the youth.
Yes.
A spiral water slide.
Yes.
And then also a pool feature. I know we've had extensive conversations about enhancing the pool at this park to help raise usership of Douglas Pool, which has been here for years. I remember coming to the pool when I was a youth, so I know a lot of people are looking forward to those amenities as well.
Absolutely. It's about creating things for kids of all ages to participate in, whether that's tot lots and larger playgrounds or spray grounds with the pool and waiting areas. The larger the group that we can certainly appeal to, the more usership we'll have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Monica. I appreciate you joining us out here today in the sun and in the park, and I appreciate the job that you're doing with Park and Recreation.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your support.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Okay, I'd like to thank you for joining me today. I'd also like to thank Miss Yvonne Giles Sean Washington, and the Director of Park and Recreation, Monica Conrad. And I look forward to seeing you at the next council comments.